Lady Gamecocks lose a heartbreaker in Austin, Texas to the Texas Longhorns. Hey, man, we're here to talk about that and talk about the upcoming matchups between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Florida Gators, man. Welcome into Chuckin Buckets. It's your boy, Coach I. That's my guy, KB. What's going on, KB?
Man, nothing much, man. What's good with you?
Hey, man, listen, we had some good basketball yesterday before the Super Bowl took place. Texas and South Carolina, and then you had LSU and Tennessee, you know what I'm saying? Like four really good teams, man. So just enjoying the sports world and then looking at the Super Bowl, things of that nature, man. Ready to talk about this preview between the Gamecocks and the Gators. So let's spin that intro. Chucking Buckets. You know how we get down, man. Just to let you know, today's episode brought to you by Swipe Fast. That's swipe with a Y. Swipe Fast. If you're looking for a way to keep majority of that hard-earned profit, you know what I'm saying, and still continue to grow your business, check out Swipe Fast. It's a merchant services company that's got over 26 years of combined experience helping businesses of all sizes, man, with debit card, credit card processing, things of that ways, in the most efficient and cost-saving ways, man. So whether you're a restaurant, retail store, e-commerce, or you process business-to-business payments, Swipe Fast has a solution to fit all the needs, man. You can visit them at swipefast.com. That's swipe with a Y, fast.com. Or you can just call them at 1-800-597-0713. No strings attached, and get you a cost analysis. Don't forget ask about that revolutionary price and cash discount too, man. It's saved business owners up to 99% of the current processing fees. Let them know Chuckin Bucket sent you, man. Now back to the regular scheduled program. All right, man. We up in here, man. It's Chuckin Buckets on the Fanatic Sports Network, man, where we talk all things South Carolina Lady Gamecock basketball, man. I'm Coach I, man. You know what I'm saying? On Chuckin Buckets, we do a lot of things SEC based on the Fanatic Sports Network, man. Chuckin Buckets is the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks show. We got a show called SEC in the Paint, man, where we talk about all SEC basketball, and then we do SEC football content as well, man. And got my guy KB here with me, man. KB, it's that time, man. It's that time that we don't get a lot of time to talk about South Carolina losing.
You're right. You're right. Very, very rare, man. Very rare, man. But when those times come, like we have now, man, it's some things that kind of put people in an uproar. You know what I'm saying? And have people kind of questioning, like what we could have done differently, or is Texas the better team? I mean, I doubt anybody questions, Don's leadership, but you start looking at, rotations. You start looking at things that's worked in the past from a Lady Gamecock perspective. And, things that kind of stood out for me is that, I mean, which has been a theme this whole year with some of the close games or even losses. If we even go back to the UCLA game, we go back to this game, it's just front court play on the defensive side, and then on the offensive side from the opponents. And they set the tone. Texas set the tone for us, or for them rather. Got a couple ladies in foul trouble, but foul trouble or not, man, Texas came to play, and we got to give them some credit.
Right, man. Listen, there's a lot of what you just said happened yesterday in that game where Texas beat the Gamecocks, ended their SEC winning conference game winning streak. I want to say it was at 57 overall. Hadn't lost since 2021. Texas handed them their first loss in the SEC play, and same thing like you said in the UCLA game. The bigs hurt South Carolina. In this game, Oldacre coming off the bench. I mean, Taylor Jones was giving work, when she was in, but down the stretch, it was Oldacre. Oldacre just they could not rebound. They couldn't keep her off the glass. You know what I'm saying? And if you look back to the Auburn game, I think we talked about it. Even Gaston, before she got in foul trouble, gave the Gamecocks problems down there. And I think one of the differences between this team and the teams of the past few years is you don't have that 6'5" Aaliyah Boston defensive presence. You don't have that 6'6", I think 6'6" Cardosa defensive presence. Even back in the Asians' day, like the defensive. I'm not saying that Chloe, Joyce, and Sanaa are not good defensively. I'm just saying they're not the defensive presence that those other girls were. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like it's I ain't gonna say taking a toll, but it's showing some crack chinks in the armor. That's what I say. It's showing some
Right.
chinks in the armor. So
No, I
I
definitely
mean,
agree with
right.
that.
So but just going back to that Texas game, it wasn't her. I mean, Booker played better. We said that, but we said Booker was
Yeah.
going to play better. She didn't chase her shots, which is good for Texas. She chased him at the right moments, but they just
Right.
played a great team effort, and the crowd was thick. You know what I'm saying? The crowd was thick. I think they said 13,000 plus sold out, which I don't know if they've sold out a home game this year, but that's what happens when the top ranked, South Carolina Gamecocks come to town. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right, man. I think we also give credit to Texas defense on the other side. Like we knew offensively coming into this game, they were going to be better. Like a score like Booker, you can't hold them down. But I think the defensive side of things for Texas, like they didn't allow South Carolina to get into some of their sets. They were
Mm-hmm.
able to do some things, ball pressure towards the end, and I think the wing defense was good as well, and I think that disrupted things, and that's why we seen like a low scoring game even first half and even going to the second half, and then we see like a lot of maybe pick and roll, a lot of things happen off the break, which was good on the South Carolina side when Joyce was able to kind of break free a little bit, but then you see like a full Wiley, like I think this is her type of game. That she
Mm-hmm.
should have been, a little bit more explosive, but it's all about the flow of the game, though, too, man. So outside of Booker doing that thing, man, I could definitely give credit to that Texas defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. That ball pressure and disrupting the start of the plays and things of that nature. I think Texas did a really good job with that. Now, something that as fans, we saw it. We talked about it in the group chat yesterday. How the refs started calling the game from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Calling really close fouls. Dawn made mention of it in one of her sideline, interviews during the game. When you have two talented teams like that, it almost does do what Don said. It takes away from the players. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making any excuses on why South Carolina lost. I'm just saying it affected both teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because when you have athletic, basketball players like that, and you call them really ticky tack fouls, like it is really. I saw like one time when Malaysia was playing defense full court, she was doing her best not to reach out and touch the girl. You know what I'm saying? Because they was calling everything, not just on South Carolina. They was calling it on Texas as well. Neither team shot great from the free throw line. I had a South Carolina fan at work tell me this morning. He was like, "Man, they was calling all that crazy stuff on South Carolina." I'm like, they was kind of calling it both ways, to be honest. I thought it was some ticky tack stuff, really, but I
yeah,
thought I thought that kind of messed up the flow of the game. You know what I'm saying? Definitely disrupted the flow for South Carolina. And but shout out to Texas for playing, like you say, playing great defense. I just thought they played really good perimeter defense. And
they did.
and for Wiley at one point, she did have to do a lot of that one on one. And that's when you need a player like for Wiley to step up. I told y'all in the group text for Wiley and number one, the little freshman point guard, they're great off the bounce for the most part. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And not for
man.
nothing, Chloe Kitts was having a good game. Now, somebody asked me why Chloe didn't play more down the stretch. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I know exactly why. Like, I mean, getting done up. I mean, you getting bodied down low in that front court. Like, man, at that point, I think even Don spoke on this in the post conference interview,
Right,
post game interview rather. Like, she had to go small, you know what I'm saying, at some point. And you know what I'm saying, and even Joyce couldn't even hold her down there, and Chloe couldn't hold her down there. So you had Fagan in there, kind of playing that big and with pretty much four guards at that point, right? And just being able to
right,
change some things up. But I mean, honestly, not to get too far ahead in the future and things like that, man. After looking at that game and kind of replaying it a little bit, like this could be the future for South Carolina going forward if you're not getting those dominant bigs like you used to in the past. That might be
right,
that four guard, you know what I'm saying, and maybe not a really a dominant post because even Joyce, I mean, she's not like a true five. Like she can still take
no.
you out of the wing. She's in between that 4 and 3. And maybe this is what it looks like in the future for the Lady Gamecocks, getting out and run and four guards and let's play ball.
I mean, honestly, it could be like that. And I definitely agree with you. I felt like it was hard for any of South Carolina bigs to handle Oldacre down there. She's hey man, she's a good player, man, and she was doing everything right yesterday. So I mean, as a coach, you try to find ways that you can be. If you can't stop, if none of your posts can really keep her off the glass, you know what I'm saying. On one end, you try to put her in a mismatch on the other end, and I'm pretty sure Don felt like Joyce and Sanaa were a better like mismatch as far as advantage South Carolina when talking about Oldacre, because Oldacre, you know what I'm saying, like she ain't gonna shoot the jump shot, you know what I'm saying? So that'll free you up.
Right.
But it's like when you get down low, like that's something they're gonna have to figure out going into March though. But now they're looking to rebound, man. They got the Florida Gators coming in into town, and a place where I mean we just saw them last week. The Gamecocks, that is, break the SEC home winning streak. It's a place they don't lose. And and the Gators, they really not that great this year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, rebound wise, they're about the same as the Gamecocks. But like, you know, with points per game, you know, the Gamecocks are scoring a little bit more than them, up in the 80s, and Florida's allowing teams. Florida's only like their points per game for and against are, it's only like a difference of about 8 points, whereas with the Gamecocks, it's a difference of like 25 points. So, I mean, just on paper, this just definitely seems like an overmatched bunch of Gators coming into Columbia. But hey, Auburn came in with very overmatched, and they gave the Gamecocks a decent game, at least for a half. You know what I'm saying? So do you think the Gators can come in and do that kind of thing as well?
Man. Difference between that Auburn game and this Florida game, they ain't coming off no loss. You know what I'm saying? This thing about to get a little different in practice this week. Probably started even
Mm,
yesterday once you got into the locker room, but I think practice is a little different this week going into that game, and there's going to be a lot of cleanup. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some changes even in rotations, just to kind of
mm.
see what might work. Just kind of preparing for even the SEC tournament and also the bigger March Madness tournament after that. But I can't see Florida even kind of staying in this game. They're gonna need everything to go right. But going on the road against a team that's just coming off a loss, not I
Right.
won't say an embarrassing loss, but a loss when we
Definitely
get
something to wake you up. It's definitely something to wake you
yeah
up.
yeah, it's like what the things that we constantly getting beat on our front court. I definitely expect that to be better, and the guard play to be better as well. So it's going to be tough for the Florida Gators, even probably get a win. Definitely.
Right, they're coming in led by freshman Liv McGill, 16.4 points a game, and I want to say her name right is Rashaya Kyle. She's their center. She's 15 points a game. And look, 9 rebounds a game. We'll see how she is. That's what I want to see. You know, coming up this week, I want to see, we got to figure out a way to keep these other bigs off that glass, because that's giving them extra, other teams extra attempts on the basket. More possessions means more chances to score. So
Yeah.
this
Let me
week I
ask you
definitely
something though, too
uh,
about rebound. Let me ask you about rebound, and as a even as a coach, like I said, I know we probably think it's well, we know it's effort when it comes to the rebounding,
a
but
lot of it
do
is. A
do
lot
you
of it
think that
is.
even the effort has been there from the Lady Gamecocks from a rebounding perspective, or it's just technique, or they just the effort's not there?
I think it's a combination, man. I'm not. I think I'm pretty sure, you know, Don State is the best coach in the game, man. I'm pretty sure they practicing this thing, but I think it is. It's a will too. It's like it's a mentality. Like, I'm gonna own the boards. Look at Morrow from LSU. She's about 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", I guess. She plays in the post a lot, but she's actually a natural guard, listed at guard on her website, but she's like a Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman type. Like, it doesn't matter. She just finds the ball, and I want to give credit to Chloe Kitts. Chloe Kitts, again, when we talk about just athleticism, if you talk about athleticism and you rank the bigs for South Carolina, she is the bottom. If you're talking about Sanaa, you're talking about Joyce. Well, she's probably better than Tack, or whatever the girl name is to come off the bench. But Chloe is a really good rebounder. You know what I'm saying? And she just finds a way, and it's like a mentality. You know what I'm saying? She wants to make sure she finds a way to get her hands on the ball. And I think they need a collective effort from that, especially when you play those upper echelon teams like a Texas, like a UCLA, um, like a UConn that's going to be coming up, which is what we're going to talk about. Like, that Florida game is a great game to get back on track with UConn on the horizon. I know UConn just lost to Tennessee, And I know we're gonna have some transitive property people watching this say, "Hey, man, we beat Tennessee. Tennessee beat UConn," but that's just not how sports work all the time. Now, I think we're not going to preview the UConn game right now. We're going to wait to see what happens in this Florida game. But I just wanted to touch on it, see if you had some early thoughts on how this Florida game can play into that UConn game.
Oh, absolutely. Like definitely there's going to be some fine tuning this week, getting ready for the Florida game, but obviously not looking past that Florida team as well because that's just not how Dawn and her coaching staff works. But they know what's coming up with Paige. They know what's coming up with Sarah Strong, who almost committed to the Lady Gamecocks. You know what I'm saying?
All
Like
right.
know that number one versus two with Joyce and her. Like I said, there's some inside stories there as well that's gonna be coming up on here. But I'm sure they're wanting to try to prove a point when it comes to even players that maybe you chose to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, let's show you why you should have came here. You know what I'm saying? That type of vibe. So I can definitely see that. But definitely fine tune it against the Florida team, and then get ready for the UConn after that.
So, do you think with this UConn game on the horizon, knowing the legendary coach Ariema and Paige and Sarah Strong and the rest of the cast, and the good games that they've had in the past, do you think there's a chance that any of the players, kind of coming off of a loss? And I know that the natural reaction or the natural thinking is that everybody's mad and they're going to take it out on the next team. But they also know UConn's coming up. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you could be at the top of the hill and then get an unexpected blow. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
now it's all about, like you said earlier, it's all about how you react. And we know that Coach Staley's going to have these girls mentally practicing to not overlook Florida. But is there any chance that sandwiched in between a game with UConn and a loss to Texas, is there any chance that somebody kind of doesn't, be all the way down there for the South Carolina Gamecocks?
Man, that's tougher right there, man. I think they definitely get prepared. They definitely get ready. I think that loss yesterday came at the right time. You'd rather that come now than come in March
Got you.
um, for them. So I think it's a little bit humbling experience, but I think it's back to business this week for them. I don't see anybody kind of looking past a Florida team or anything like that, but just getting ready to handle business this week, man, and get back on track.
Right, right. I think you're right. I think it's good to get this loss in now. Right now, that one loss still puts them in tie for first with LSU and Tennessee. I mean Texas. They got the split with Texas and they got the head to head with LSU. So if the season ended right now, I would have to think that the Gamecocks would hold the advantage. Kentucky is a one loss SEC team, but they've only played 9 games, whereas Texas, South Carolina, and LSU have all played 11 games. Before we get into our predictions on what we think the score will be and who needs to step up this week, just want to mention, man, we're going to be going live to preview the SEC women's basketball tournament on March the 3rd at 8 o'clock p.m. We're going to preview the tournament and the Gamecocks' path to another SEC championship leading into March. So y'all make sure y'all join us, man. March the 3rd at 8 o'clock. That's a Monday. That's after the last game. I want to say the last game is versus Kentucky. So they'll play that Sunday. The tournament will be laid out. The tournament starts on March the 5th, and we're going to come on Chuckin Buckets live stream. We want to see all of y'all, man. Listen, want to definitely thank y'all, man. Y'all been definitely coming in, supporting the channel, supporting the show, showing love to Chuck and Buckets, talking South Carolina Gamecock women's basketball, man. So we want to see y'all in the live. A lot of y'all we see returning commenters and giving good takes. We love that. We love people coming in talking basketball. Love, love, love it. And we want to see it live so we can react to it and maybe get some questions from y'all. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all tune in on March the 3rd at 8 o'clock live at Eastern Standard Time, man. So now let's get into these predictions, man. All right, KB, how you think this score gonna look, and who needs a rebound game? Who needs a rebound game more than
Man,
the other girls?
it's funny using the word rebound. Yeah, so we I think it comes down to the front court of the Lady Gamecocks. I think they're looking to have a tough week in practice, but also carry that over to the game. And let's see who really won it. Like I said, this could easily say like, okay, this is our rotation when it looks like going into March, based on this next week or two that's coming up. Like I said, got the Florida team, got the UConn game, got Kentucky at the end of the season, but we got to be able to control the boards. Got to be able to maybe get some second chance options when it comes to offensive boards as well. So I'm looking at Fagan, I'm looking at Chloe Kitts, I'm even looking at Joyce, even though Joyce still decent when it came to
Mhm.
the last game, but I'm looking at a big performance from them. Hopefully they're not in the whole game, but those first 3 quarters, I'm looking at bounce back games from that whole front court.
I'm with you. I'm exactly with you. I want to see. I think the Gamecocks will dominate this game. I think they could start out a little sluggish. Just like I said, sometimes when you come off that high of being undefeated for so long, because it's not just the first loss this season. It's the first loss in the SEC play since 2021. So I could see them coming out sluggish, but that's fine. I mean, I mean, that's not nothing to be alarmed about. But I just want to see them finish strong. But I also want to see them dominate in the post. What's her name? Rashaya, I think her name, Kyle, the center. Her average is 9.3 rebounds a game. I want to look at the stats at the end of the game, KB, and see that she was held under 9 rebounds a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if it's 8, KB, long as it ain't her average. Like, hold her under her average. I want to see our posts dominate down low in this game. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a good tune-up game. They got the little freshman guard coming in for the Gators too, so a good tune-up game to get ready to get back on track for that UConn team that's coming in, who looking to rebound as well. After some tough games on their side as well. So, man, hey, man, that's been our preview for Florida coming into the CLA to take on South Carolina Gamecocks this Thursday. Y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. Tell us y'all predictions for the game. And I mean, if there's anything else that you are looking for other than the post to play better, what are you looking at, or what questions you may have? This has been Chuckin Buckets. I'm Coach I. That's my man KB. We out.